Welcome back, you guys. In the past two videos, I've been disgusted, aroused, and bored. A typical guy might quit after that, but not me. I am a gamer after all. I can go through all 5 stages of grief in a matter of seconds. I managed to optimize therapy. That's right, guys. Depression no more. Why be just depressed when I could be depressed and show it off to my friends? We've gone over Sonic and we've gone over Mario. There's only one game left in the Holy Trio. That's right, you guys. You know what, I think I'll give Cars Racer M a bit more time in the shed. It's a great game and all, but I don't think it's the trio you guys are looking for. Luckily I have my list of things that go with Mario and Sonic right here. What's a Bandicoot? You ever look at a creature and go, damn, I love those polygons? Putting the model aside for now, this right here is Crash Bandicoot. He's the only reason the human species knows what a Bandicoot is. Let's put him next to a real Bandicoot. Where are the polygons? The series was made by Naughty Dog. They placed Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1 exclusively, but as time went on, the series found more and more homes in different consoles. 1996 was such a great year for video games. You had Super Mario 64, and not much else. This was a time when platformers were so popular. You had Mario and Sonic topping the charts and so many other characters coming out. If you ask me, this game's sole purpose was to compete with Mario and Sonic and other platforming kings. If you have any doubts about that, the prototype for this game was called Sonic's Ass Game, which basically just screams I'm f***ing pissed. Yeah, if Naughty Dog were a person, they'd be the kind of guy to get their order wrong at the drive-thru, then get upset because McDonald's is out for them. Weird developer company aside, this game was actually reviewed pretty well. It got a 9.5 on the audience scale, and IGN gave it a solid 7.5, which is good for IGN because it's IGN. When are they ever right? I fucking hate game reviewers. Fuck you! Okay, let's see if I can go 10 more minutes without ranting about IGN. This is not gonna go well. So there are 3 worlds: Sanity Island, Middle Island, sure was, and Cortex Island. Sanity Island and Middle Island both have about 9 levels, while Cortex Island, being the final one, has about 15. So Dr. Neo Cortex, he exists. Basically, he makes a ray that gives animals human-like traits and superpowers. He uses Crash as a test subject, and Crash becomes his #1 enemy. So Cortex wants another Bandicoot because Crash was dysfunctional. He goes after Crash's girlfriend, Tana, who is a thought. So you, being the heroic man you are, have to save her because awooga awooga. So basically you plopped onto Insanity Island and you have to go find her, and you meet this masked guy named Aku Aku. Kind of a weird one. Let's try saying that 10 times fast. Aku 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 Aku. So he is a flying tiki mask and basically acts as your guardian / conveniently placed tutorial guide. One of the things that sets Crash apart from the other platformers is the progression of difficulty throughout the levels. All the levels get harder and harder as you progress, and not in an unfair gimmicky way, but more just in terms of actual difficulty and skill required to beat those levels. There's also a good handful of bosses spread throughout the islands. They are pretty easy, but that doesn't mean they aren't creative. They're all very opening based. They'll give you openings at times for you to attack before they start bullet helling you. You can actually skip the final boss by 100%ing the game, which involves you getting all the crates in all the levels, all the gems, and all the medals, which, tell me, why would I do that? The game is very based around crates. It heavily encourages you to get all the crates before you beat the level. However, you can still beat the level without all the crates. At the end level, however, it will tell you how many crates you missed, and it will bonk Crash in the head with all those crates. Crash doesn't seem fazed by getting hit in the head with all these crates. If anything, he might enjoy it. Dear God. Something important to note about this game was that it was made for the original PlayStation before Analog Sticks were added to controllers, so you were stuck using a D-pad. And for most of the level, you need very precise jumps, which means a D-pad is not the right choice for this. They re-released games 1 through 3 of this series in the Insane Trilogy, and with that you had the analog stick available, which made the game exponentially easier. You could tell that the D-pad really held you back from being able to do the best at this game. However, this game was meant to be difficult. Its sole purpose was to be much more difficult than the other platforming games we had out there. It was meant to make Mario and Sonic look like babies, which it did. So was using a D-pad favorable for us as players? No, but did it get the point across? Yes, very well. So in that I have to say they did a good job with it. Like I said before, we start this game off on Sanity Island. It was very easy and slow in the beginning, easing you into things. But by the end of the island, it definitely gets so much harder. The biggest difficulty jump in the game was from the beginning of Insanity Island to the end of the Insanity Island, which I thought was a neat feature. However, that does make it for the rest of the game pretty solid in its difficulty. It all resides around the pretty difficult range, which I can accept, but at the same time I wish they'd kind of slowed it down a bit. I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to slow down in a game called Sonic's Ass Game, so I should probably lower my expectations a bit. A big mechanic of this game was the level formatting. Some of the levels restricted you to the X and Y axis and 2D. However, a good chunk of the levels allowed you to go into 3D. Take that, other platformers, we're in 3D now. None of you can do that, oh shit. One of the large things I loved about this game, compared to other platformers at the time, was the diversity. They had a large variety of enemies and bosses and mechanics that, yes, other games can say they have, but this game just executed it well. In Mario, we're still fighting the good Turtle Man, and in Sonic, we're still beating Eggman to a pulp. In comparison, Crash has a lot of different enemies and bosses, which I don't think the other games can say they did as well. They also format their levels another way. They have timing levels where you basically have to get to the top to win. These levels are creative. I usually enjoy these levels more than the plain 2D and plain 3D levels. Overall, this game did do what it intended to do. It made a huge title in the platforming industry, and it made a very popular game for PlayStation, which were both huge wins at the time. Crash also opened the floodgates for a lot more platformers to come. It showed that Mario and Sonic, while they were the giants, weren't impossible to beat. This game had a nice formula that, if done right, could very well beat Mario and Sonic in their platforming ability. Enough backstory and legacy and whatnot, let's actually play this game. I hadn't played any of the Crash games until the Insane Trilogy came out, which I bought on the Switch. It was fun, I definitely enjoyed all the levels in Crash Bandicoot 1, but for me to give a serious review of this game, I can't look at the remaster, I have to look at where it started. The PS1, which I don't own. But you know what I do own? A PlayStation 1 emulator. Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna bring this up. I may do an individual video on this later, but for now, let's just use this as a reference. I don't think there's a problem with emulators. Now, are they illegal? Probably. And do they kind of ruin the point of having the console in the first place? Yep. But really, what are you supposed to do in this case when you don't have that console, it's not being sold anymore, and you just want to relive the memories you had as a kid, or create new ones with a game you never did get to play? What are you supposed to do then? It's not like the consoles offer too many alternatives. Backwards compatibility, sure, it's there, but really it only dates back to 2-3 consoles before. Or in Nintendo's case, you have the library of SNES and NES games available for online, but you may not be able to afford online. And what about the older consoles, the PlayStation 1 or 2, the Genesis or Dreamcast, the GameCube or the N64? Where are you supposed to get those games from? Sure, Sega does offer some of them on Steam, which, good move, Sega. I just think that if there's no alternative, really, what else are we supposed to do as a community who loves video games and loves cherishing old memories? Anyways, enough talking about emulators right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and open one and instantly gain 5 pounds on my V card. There are a lot of boxes to collect, and I mean a lot. It's really hard to get them all, which I think adds to the challenge, since there is no downside to not collecting them all other than not having the satisfaction. So I think it's a good balance, you know, you can challenge yourself by getting all the boxes, but it's optional, which is a great move by them. The level design is incredible, it really does sell the scene and makes you feel like you're in those environments. The obstacles and enemies also fit well with the levels too. They did well with this, unlike a certain game that just plopped mushrooms, turtles, and bombs everywhere and called it a day. The final bosses also fit pretty well, Pinstripe Potoroo, Papu Papu, and the Insane Asylum guy. I can't be the only one who thinks it's a bit cruel that they're fighting Ripperoo. Like, Jesus Christ, it's a dog in an insane asylum. Who thought this was a good idea on the creative team? In my honest opinion, the gameplay, the bosses, concepts, themes, That was the biggest success of the game. The biggest success of Crash Bandicoot 1 was the legacy it left behind. This game proved something, and it's that Mario and Sonic can be beat. That there is room for a good game out there. No matter how far ahead the competition is, there's always room for new games to grow. And I'm pretty sure that's what led a lot of developers to making games that, sure, they might have not thought it would have succeeded, but they tried it anyways, and it worked. It left behind that idea. Now, was it as popular as Mario and Sonic? No, not by a mile. Why would you even think that? But it proved a point. Don't mess with Sony. So that was Crash Bandicoot 1. It was the beginning of Crash going down a downhill spiral. Yeah, the sequels kind of lacked in comparison to the first game. Sure, they were improved, but the competition was also getting better and better. The Fat Italian Man and Blue Hedgehog were just zooming past them. But people still know his name. That's the important part. People think of Crash Bandicoot now when they think of platformers, which all in all was the mission of the series. Well, they may lose to Nintendo and Sega, but it's not like Xbox is pumping any good platformers. I'm not sure if Xbox even knows what a platformer is. So congrats, Crash. You did what you wanted to do. No, I can't say the same for these guys. And that right there is another wrap. Thank you guys for watching this. This is my 5th video, and we've actually hit 50 subscribers, which are both very big deals to me. Thank you guys for watching these, and thank you all for the support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope Mariah Carey does not screw you over every time you go to the mall. Adios.